You've tuned into the RevUP Podcast, broadcasting straight from Ducati Sanford in sunny central Florida. We're not just talking motorcycles, we're diving deep into the brilliant minds of business leaders, entrepreneurial pioneers, speed demons on the track, influential game changers, and downright rad people crushing this game called life. Let's rev up.
All right, folks, welcome to the RevUP Podcast. I know it's been a hot minute. David, Ducati Dave, was not feeling too well, so he was a little under the weather. So we had to take a couple weeks off so he could recollect himself.
Yeah,
but, we're back, and we have been anticipating this guest for some time. He's our top client. He's a top client with Ducati. He's part of our family here at Ducati Sanford. Fantastic individual, and we're super excited to have the legend here, Mr. Lightsey. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank y'all for inviting me. Thank you for inviting me, man.
It's been a while. We really, like you said, we've been excited about this one, but it actually lined up perfectly too. So we'll talk about that.
Man.
And how it came in to be.
Yeah. So, this guy's been coming in the shop since we opened.
I gotta say, since you opened,
Yeah.
You're the first Diablo from us, one of the first ones.
Yeah.
Of the 1260s.
I got on the wait list for it.
Yep.
Right.
But you didn't know that.
I did not know
No?
that.
Yeah, he bought one of the first 1260 S's in black and red before I came in.
Okay. Awesome, man. It's
Thank you for coming.
yeah, thank you for being here.
Yep.
It's pleasure to have you, and we're excited to hear a little bit about you and the bikes and man.
Before we do that, why don't we get a little...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he brought some party favors. So we got what is that, bourbon?
Yeah, we got some Weller bourbon, and we have some Crown 23-year-old apple.
Which is my favorite. And this is the one he got me for a while back when he got his Lamborghini. So let's let the man pour. And I'll take a little from you, and we'll get this thing started. And thank you guys for tuning in. This one's going to be a little different and fun.
That was a heavy pour, man.
Well,
God damn.
I'll pour easier than you can.
So that's Keller?
There you go.
That's Keller?
No, this is Weller.
Weller.
Weller,
Okay.
This is
Okay.
Weller.
Yeah.
Weller Antique.
That's legit right
I'll take
there.
It's weeded bourbon. It's very, very good. Oh, you want some of this too? Okay.
You wanted me to try it, right?
Okay, yeah.
And that you picked that up in Colorado, you said?
Nope. That's a different bottle.
That's a different bottle.
Okay, all right.
Oh, wait.
This I actually get in Georgia because it's very hard to get in Florida.
All right.
So
So are you a bourbon guy? Is that your
yeah, I'll do the bourbon trail and buy a lot of different things, try a lot of things. But I like a lot of bourbons. I typically like rye better than bourbons, but
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
But yeah.
I've always wanted to do that bourbon trail thing. But
Really?
yeah,
I've never heard of it. I'm
Cheers.
not big of a drinker
Cheers.
like that. Cheers.
right.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, all you guys.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good one.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
the
it's
first
good.
time we've ever had cocktails on the podcast. It's gonna be interesting to see where this goes.
Yes. So now, go on. You were introducing him, and we were talking a little bit.
Yeah. Man, it's you've been like an amazing client with us, but you're in the store all the time. You have so many awesome bikes, and you always seem to, whenever the limited editions come out, you're always the first one to jump on it. You got a heck of a collection.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you kind of want to walk us through your inspirations for the collecting and the different bikes you have, or where that kind of started.
Yeah, I can do that. So early 90s, I started riding. Actually, I grew up motocrossing.
Okay.
But then street bikes, I started early 90s. I bought a Yamaha VMAX.
Nice.
And that's all I rode for years. And then the second generation came out. I rode that for a long time. And then they came out with the Diablo, and I went and sat on one and put a deposit, waited to get it.
This is 2011?
Yeah, that's the
Right.
2011 I got. And once I rode that a little bit, I decided to get rid of the VMAXs, both of them, because afraid I'd hurt myself on them.
Yeah.
because you come up on a curve, forget, I'm not on the Ducati. This bike won't turn.
Yeah.
So
They designed it to handle with a cruiser style.
Even
bike.
with the 240, it handles very well.
Now, and you had a lot to do with some changes and building a specific one that you have that's only 2 in the world, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh wow.
With
So-
the 2011.
Yeah, and we actually, funny story, from our last podcast, you and I went down to the Diablo Bentley event.
Yeah.
Got to meet Jason, and,
Yeah.
got to see Jason down there, and we were kind of talking about this last time. I made sure to say, hey, I wanted to reintroduce you to somebody.
Yeah.
And they started talking, and like I said last time, he remembered the ride about clam chowder.
Yeah.
And then I'll let you finish the rest. But it was really neat because he remembered everything about it.
Yeah.
And his bike is not just any Diavel. The first Diavel that he has a dry clutch, has a stroker motor in it, and it's how much horsepower?
It does mid 160s to the wheel.
Yeah, to the wheel, guys, on a Diavel.
And it's it's a 1260 before there was a 1260.
1260, correct. And shout out to the man who did it. You know what I mean? Sebastian is a legend in our industry and in Ducati, and he built that motor with him.
He only built 2 of them.
2 of those bikes.
Wow, that's cool. So what was the clam chowder thing?
Yeah.
We did a ride with, got invited. That's when Ducati was Sebastian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they set up a ride, and some of the top people that had bought Ducatis got invited on the ride.
Okay.
So Jason headed up the ride, and then they also had 2 accessory guys from Italy that came, and we rode to Crystal River.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
From Ocala.
Yeah.
And then, so one of the guys looked at my bike. Of course, I had the pipe on my bike. It wasn't a stroker at that time.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'd done things. I'd put a Corbin seat on it, and I'd put Strata bars on it, which changed the way it sits. I changed a lot of things on the bike. Yeah. So the guy asked me, "You mind if I ride it or sit on it?" I said, "No, you can ride it if you want."
Yeah, yeah.
So he rode it to the next stop. Really loved the bike, and they came over to ask us questions about what we liked about the bike, what we didn't like about the bike, and then also what would we like to have. And out of that conversation, they listened because biggest thing was we'd like cruise control.
Yeah.
And because it's a cruiser. And they were trying to understand the American market, and they made some changes. They changed the way the bike sits a little, because as soon as he sat on my bike, he says, "Yeah, this seat's about 1.5 inches further back than stock."
Just like that.
Just like that,
Yeah.
as soon as he sat on
Yeah.
it. And so they went back and changed some things, offered some different options, and they improved their motorcycles.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's not just our feedback, but I've
No,
done this
everything.
everywhere. They've done this everywhere. And from the feedback they got, they went and done research, and they changed the bike.
Yep. What's funny, David went to the Ducati conference in Italy, like, was that 2 years ago?
Yeah, yeah.
When they're launching the newest generation of Diavel, and he was looking at the bike, and he was kind of like, "Man, I don't really like." It was
There's a few things
he didn't like, and next thing he knows,
it was the magnesium motor on that bike. We already knew it was a V4, and they had a lot of different silvers on there. And he asked me, which might very well be
Claudio, the CEO of Ducati.
Yeah, and he asked me what I thought, and I had the guys from Portland behind me, which is a good friend of ours, Shaheen. Yeah. And I said, "There's a few things that I'm really not feeling." And he goes, and he looks at our information. They didn't just say, "Well, you're Ducati Sanford," because we weren't really known then. And he looks up and he goes, "Actually, you guys are one of the biggest Diavel sellers in the South and Northeast. So, tell me what you're thinking." And I showed him a couple of pictures of one we did. And I said, getting rid of that silver on the, the intakes and putting the motor black, there's just too many colors that were really off. And he looked at me and he goes, "Man, I really appreciate that. Never thought anything else about it." And what was it? About 2 weeks after I got back, I get a message from Ryan with a picture of the Diavel, everything that I had spoke to him about. They did. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. They not only listened to the legend, who wasn't even really the legend back then, and they actually listened to me a little bit. And that's my little claim to fame. And I was happy about that because the bike is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's huge.
So I'm a big fan. And you're getting ready to have one soon.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, you're gonna have one of the baddest of the baddest. 500 and what? 25?
There's 500, and then there's 50 custom painted.
Yeah. So of the Diavel ones, and you're getting the green. And we got to see that thing. What did you think in person?
I thought it, just like the Lamborghini bike, pictures do not do it justice.
At all.
The bike is beautiful.
I mean, when we walked in there, we had started this, you know what I mean? And cheers to that. It was a great experience. And it was kind of smoky in there. They kind of let the fog juice go and stuff. And there's this beautiful Bentley, in the green with the red and everything sitting there. And you walked up and then they unveiled the green one first. And it was just beautiful. Like you said, the pictures don't do it justice. Wait till you see it in person.
Matches the green car that there's only 18 of.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize at that time that that's a $2 million car.
So, are you a car guy at all? Like, do you? I know you just pulled up in the Bronco Raptor, but I mean, are you into like?
It's actually a 150 Raptor
150
R.
Raptor. Yeah, this bike has the Bronco.
Okay.
It has the Shelby 700 horsepower motor in it.
And he took off on the way here, and it sucked me into the chair. And I was like, all right, I'm impressed. Yeah,
it's a real nice truck. But yeah, I'm a car guy too.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I have a 911 Turbo S.
Okay.
But I'm going to sell it. After I bought the truck, I really liked the truck.
Yeah.
I've had the car a long time, and I don't drive it, so I'm going to sell it.
Gotcha.
So you've got a few bikes.
Yeah.
So let's start off with that. So we talked about the 2011, right?
Yep.
And then you had that, what was it, a 2020 Diablo?
Yep.
But you also, prior to that, you had your Pikes Peak,
Yeah,
right?
My 2016
Yes.
Pikes Peak, that was a
69
lemon number.
made.
I'm going to say there wasn't a lot of them made.
I think it, and I have a picture
Mine
of
was
it.
like
and I
number
apologize.
3.
It was number 2 or 3 of only
yeah.
like 69 made of this specific Pikes Peak that you ended up trading in with me.
Right.
So let's see. So we've had the 11, you had the 16. What else? The 2020.
My wife has a Monster R.
Yes, the Monster R. And this is all
17.
Yeah.
And before that, she had a 1100.
Yes, the Evo.
And actually, I have to give her credit for getting me on board with Ducati because
She's amazing.
she was the first person to buy Ducati. She actually
in the
went
family.
to a different dealer and was going to buy a bike. And guy was my friend, and he told her, before you buy this bike, go ride a Ducati.
That's amazing.
And she went and drove it, rode it, and bought one. And then she had hers less than about 6 months, and then I got on board.
And then that's
the Diablo came out, and I bought the Diablo.
right. And then
So-
our kind of interaction was kind of funny the first time we met. So I don't know if you know about this. So he comes in, and we're talking, and I didn't know you. You didn't know me. Sebastian actually told you about us, and I send a lot of guys to him that want to do a lot of stuff that we don't do.
Yeah.
You know, the extra, things that we can't get into, but with power and stuff like that we can't do at the shop. And we were talking, and somehow the Street Fighter came up, right? And he were like, I don't know how it came up, and he's like, I've never ridden one. He goes, I don't think I'd be comfortable on it, right?
Right. That's because I just never sat on one because I figured it's too much like a Panigale. I wouldn't be comfortable on it.
Right.
You know.
And so I said, well, hell, you want to go for a ride? And he looks at me and he goes, yeah, let's go for a ride. So I said, all right. So I take him for a ride. And, we're always moderate on our test rides. We never do anything, but I'm a corner guy, So I take him for a ride. We come around the corner. We hit a couple corners. We come back. He gets off the bike. His hands are shaking, and he's still in his helmet. And he goes, I'll take it. And I'm going, wait, what?
I said, it's the best test ride I've ever been on.
Hell yeah.
And he goes, I'll take it. And I'm like, wait, what? That was not even.
And this was during a bike event.
Yes.
So then I had to ride back to Daytona.
Yeah.
And then ride back to pick it up. And that was my first Street Fighter. And then I got drowned on the way back to Daytona.
Oh, yes. It was raining really
rained
bad.
David knew what he was doing.
Yeah. And the cool thing was, like I said, I didn't know who he was. I didn't. I didn't know anything about him. I dug the way he was showing me his Diablo, and I'm like, man, I've never seen a dry clutch on a Diablo before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was so cool the way he interacted. We have a lot of customers that come in and they just fit, you know, and some that take a minute to kind of get in with us, right? He just clicked, and when he said he wanted to go for that ride, I'm like, man, I actually want to go for a ride, you know?
Yeah.
And so when he came back, that was kind of our beginning, right? That was our beginning of kind of becoming friends and family and building something that he trusts me. He'll call me and, we'll talk and, what do you think about this? Nah, let's not do that. Let's do this. And he'll tell me, hey, I want this. And boom. Yeah. So we actually filmed the first, was it deposit on the Lamborghini? Or what was it? We filmed not the Bentley one because we didn't get to do that. Yeah. But we filmed it, and it was like the first, and it was a Lamborghini.
Well, it was the Lamborghini.
It was,
bike.
and we filmed it and put his deposit down, and we did it, and we put it on
I remember that.
Instagram
That was cool.
and stuff like
that.
Was
fun.
And we got to enjoy that with him, and he's so much fun.
Yeah. I know.
And we have a lot of customers like that, and a lot of our family members that are like that, the Ducati Sanford family members. But he's one, and everybody when they walk in, they know him from Juan Bueno, from the the West Side to everybody, and when they see him, they always ask him questions too because they want to know, what are you doing with your bikes right now? Like what, he's the first one to find a new company AEM that's doing neat stuff, and you actually have on your Lamborghini Diablo, which as you can see, we have a bunch of Lamborghini stuff. This is all his personal stuff, by the way. But what did you do with the Lamborghini Diablo that nobody else has?
Put STM dry clutch in it with the color that matches the paint.
Yes.
Even though it's anodized, it matches.
Almost identical.
Yeah, it's almost identical. So it's dry clutch. It's a big improvement on the bike.
So you have 2 Diablos with dry clutches on them.
And my street, I like the dry clutch.
Yes, yes.
Dry clutch.
So you had number 6, Street Fighter SP1.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then you had, then the Lamborghini came, and you got number 100.
Yep.
And then by weird chance, we had an SP2 there, and it was number 100. Yeah. And he's looking at
SP2.
it. Yeah, the SP2. And he's looking at it, and he's like, David. And I go, I know what you're thinking. I said, it would be cool to have 2 number 1s. Or number 100, sorry. Number 100. Then he goes, damn it, let's do it. And I was like, wait, what? And so he ends up doing it. And that's how he is. And that's what makes it so much fun.
Well, that way, the electronics on the Lamborghini bike and that bike are the same. And the SP1 was not.
Yeah.
So
it was
it's a little
upgraded.
Easier going from bike to bike if they operate the same.
Really? So now you're making me rethink that 22, huh? No.
Well, not unless you have a 24 also.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, and we've had a lot of experiences and a lot of things all because of riding motorcycles and not just Ducati. He started, I was a big Yamaha guy. Yeah. I raced with the Yamaha, just on the CCS stuff and amateur. And I loved my Yamahas and stuff like that. So it was really cool to have kind of that bond with him, even without Ducatis. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And there was a Pikes Peak in between there too, the newer version.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. There's a new.
Didn't you go to Pikes Peak and ride?
Actually, the 2016, I have a picture on top of Pikes Peak.
Okay.
Then I bought the V4 S, I guess it was.
The Sport. Sport.
Yeah. I bought that because they said they weren't going to do a Pikes Peak.
They weren't yes.
And then, so 6 months later, they come out with a Pikes Peak.
Yep.
And so I traded up back and bought the Pikes Peak. Yep. Actually, took it this past year to Pikes Peak, but the weather didn't cooperate. I didn't get to ride it up Pikes Peak. And then I took the Lamborghini bike, the Diablo out there in September. It was late because I got there on Friday. It snowed 8 inches. And then they had the ascent race up the mountain on foot the next day.
On foot?
On foot.
That's ridiculous.
Some guy set a new record by a lot.
By a lot.
I forgot what it was, but he broke the record by 15 minutes or something.
Oh, my God.
And then on Sunday, they opened the mountain back up, and I rode it Sunday. It's about an hour over there, and then I rode it up Pikes Peak. And there was still a lot of snow on top, but the roads were clean.
Really? But, there was snow all over.
Yeah, but it was one of the clearest days I've ever seen up there.
Yeah.
At 14,000 feet.
Yeah.
So
we posted the pictures on our Instagram, and you can see you sitting on the bikes and having the pictures of the bikes in the snow, like snow just all around Pikes Peak. I mean, who does that? I mean, nobody but the legend.
But I do ride my bike.
That's right. That's right.
Even the Lambo bikes.
Yeah, even the Lambo bike.
yeah. And you can see there's the Lambo helmet for the Street Fighter and the Diablo Lambo. This is the only one he's not worn, only because it's not your style of helmet.
Yeah, that's all the helmet.
Yeah. And we just got that one. So.
Is there any other memorable rides that you've done on your Ducati besides the Pikes Peak and obviously the clam chowder incident?
Yeah,
I couldn't say I ride up in the Carolinas.
Yeah, with your picture of the
rattlesnake or the rattler. It's actually a lot more fun to ride that ride than it is to do the dragon, because the dragon, in my opinion, is overridden.
Yes,
and I had a house up there for 8 years.
Okay,
so I learned a lot of places to ride.
Okay.
And the rattlesnake from Waynesville to Hot Springs is a really cool ride, and it's generally not busy.
Yeah.
It's got a little more traffic on it now, but it's still not crowded.
Right.
So it's
a good ride.
It's a good ride.
Yeah.
But there's good roads to ride up there, and then I've ridden
everything.
I don't have pictures, but the old Diablo, when I first got it built, I actually took it and rode it through Yellowstone.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I rode it through Yellowstone 2 or 3 different days in a week.
That had to be the most amazing ride. Can you imagine that?
I've actually never been out there.
And I wasn't afraid that the bike was going to, even though it's not a stock motorcycle.
Exactly.
I'll have to say this: the bike has never left me anywhere. The bike has always been really good.
Out of all the Ducatis that you've owned, you've never come to me and said, "Oh, I'm having problems with anything."
Right.
Anything.
No.
And he rides his bikes, and that's the cool thing about, we have a lot of collectors. Yeah. We do, and they're all mad respect to them. Yeah. This is a collector that actually rides every bike. Actually, funny story. You just had to do he came to do a service on the Lambo? No. What'd you do the service on? Street Fighter. Yeah, the Street Fighter SP2. And then when he went back, he was going to go do heated grips on the Pikes Peak. And realized that he had to do a service on that. So he just did 2 services back to back on 2 of his bikes that are only a year old, right? They were annuals, right?
Well, I guess it's a 22, the multi.
Yeah, the multi's a 22. So, yeah. So it's funny. Now he's going to end up with 10 bikes. So he's going to have 10 services throughout the year. We were just talking about it because we haven't even talked about that. He actually ordered the Petco bike.
Yeah.
So, and you got number what?
13.
Number 13. That's right.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's a low number.
That's going to be really cool. That's going to be probably one of my favorite bikes. And he always lets us show the bikes off for a while too. So we'll have that in there. I want the Lamborghini Diavolo in there with the dry clutch because nobody's gotten to see that dry clutch yet on that bike. It's gorgeous.
Actually, that bike needs service now.
Yes.
So it's about to come in. It needs an annual.
Yeah. So every time he brings a bike, I show it off.
I mean, not that it really needs servicing, but it's just
the
annual to turn the light out and change the oil, whatever they do for the annual service. So.
Yeah, that's what's cool about when he brings his bikes in for service. He lets us keep them for a little while longer, and we can display them and show them off. And everyone comes in, they're like, "Whoa, where'd you get this?"
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it is super cool.
Yeah.
No, and unfortunately, you didn't go with us on the Miami Diablo thing, but the next one that we do, all 3 of us are going.
Oh, 100%.
I promise you this, because funny, we were talking about this before we turned on the cameras. So that night, him and I were in Miami, right? We said earlier, we went to a gentleman's club, whatever. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard an Apple tag. And I was worried. You're out there and not saying that it, Miami's crazy. I grew up down there. We hear it happening a lot, and so I'm very, cautious and pay attention to my surroundings. About what? It was like 5 a.m, and we were getting up and, getting everything together. And I heard a sound and I asked him, I said, dude, I think I heard an Apple tag. So whatever, we start moving on, whatever, and you end up going to Vegas for the rodeo, right? Yeah. After that. So, by the way, we got back from Miami. He jumps on the plane, goes to the rodeo in Vegas.
So with the Apple tag thing, though, what you've heard is people get tagged and tracked.
We're afraid that one of us got tagged.
Yeah, and then you get robbed. Okay, I got you.
Because, you are a watch fan like I am. So you had he had a nice watch on. So I was kind of being kind of protective and paying attention because, as much as we were having a good time, still want to be safe. I'm taking him down with me, and him and I are together, and we're at a Ducati dealership, or I'm not dealership, event. I apologize. And after that, we went out and partied a little bit and hung out. So there was this whole worry about, we're not from here, and people can tell. Well, I'm from here, but he's not. You know what I mean? So I had that, and damn sure in the morning I heard that doo-doo-doo. And I was like, and I said something to him, and he goes, "You think so?" And I looked, and I didn't see anything.
I said, "Yeah," because I wasn't familiar. Actually, I wasn't familiar with it at that time.
Correct.
And then after we came back and I dropped you off, then my phone went off.
Right, and we were actually Apple tagged.
And so then,
but it was by wife.
So I went.
Your wife tagged
it. It was a bag that I have a soft bag. It's a small bag.
Yeah.
So that's the bag I just put my clothes in to go down there.
Yeah.
And it had a tag in it.
Yeah.
Because we flew with it before.
So you don't lose it.
And I don't use it.
Yeah.
And then I didn't see the tag because it was in the liner inside. She unzipped the
because Karen's amazing and puts it in there.
So when I looked at it, and I said, I was thinking, and I forgot to tell him that, David was right. We were air tagged, but it started when I left 15 miles from my house because that's where the trail picked up, and it went to Miami.
It went to Miami.
I took it with me.
So it was funny, man, because I was asleep, and I'm telling you, I heard that sound because I've always heard that happen. To anybody, you know what I mean? Like they see people from out of town or whatever, and
it's actually a pretty smart way to rob somebody.
Yeah. It is because they follow them right to the hotel. And not only that morning, didn't we wake up or something and the alarms were going off?
Yeah,
the fire alarm. Yeah, the fire alarm.
Doing some kind of drill or something. But yeah,
and we were starting. I'm like, man, maybe we're getting. These are some serious dudes coming in here or something. Because understand this, we have been drinking all night long. You know what I mean? And I mean all night long. So it was probably hands down was probably one of the best nights of my life.
That's funny.
Like since I've been around like up here and stuff, and it was really a good time. But it was so funny because it was actually his wife that Apple tagged us.
And then my wife figured it out the next day when we flew to Vegas because she says, "It says one of my bags are left. That I'm separated from my bag or whatever." And then she starts looking at it, and once she digs through the bag after we get out, because I wadded that bag up and put it in my suitcase, so that we had an extra bag to come home with.
They have a dirty clothes
in case we had
stuff.
And then she figured it out. Oh, I left this in here the last time we flew.
That is fantastic. So, needless to say, we actually came home safe, and we were tagged, but it was by his wife, so that was a good thing.
So you went from the Bentley event in Miami to rodeo in Las Vegas.
Yep.
How was that?
It was the World Finals. The rodeo. It was a great time.
Isn't that one of the hardest things to get into?
Yeah, we looked when the tickets went on sale. You could not buy them because groups of tickets sold, and you couldn't get single tickets, so we had to buy them secondary.
Oh my god!
And but it was my son's wife's birthday, and she wanted to go, so we only went for 3 days.
Happy belated birthday!
But we had a good time. We went to the rodeo. We went to the show. They have this huge center with all kinds of vendors in there, from anywhere from horse trailers and stuff to boots and
saddles,
hats and clothes and jewelry. I mean, everything. You can't cover it in a day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's further. You walk in, you can't see the other end of the arena, or not the arena, but the conference center.
Yeah. Funny thing you don't know is my family are all blacksmiths. Both my brothers and their father were all farriers.
Okay.
So I grew up
in this medieval times, or
no? This is they're my brothers who are younger than I am. They both grew up with their father, and they were farriers. They actually were blacksmiths. Yes, it was medieval time.
Where at? Not in Miami.
Yes.
Really?
Believe it or not, yes. We and I learned to shoot
more like
horses.
Okeechobee.
No.
Cattle.
We actually he shoot horses.
You must be old then.
Yes. I'm 27 or something. Yes, exactly. No, I grew up pre-Hurricane Andrew. Everything was different, you know.
I know.
And my mom remarried, and he was a farrier. He was a blacksmith, and he taught me. I actually could shoe and trim horses. The only thing I didn't do was float teeth, but he floated the teeth, which is when horses, their teeth grow, they can't chew their food. So he'd reach in, grab their tongue, and grab a file, and it's all humane, but it saves them, because what happens is they don't eat their food, and it founders in their stomach, and they get sick and die. Wow. And so I had to watch this my whole life and be a part of that. And let me tell you something. You know why I'm into motorcycles? Because I can control them. You can't control a horse. That's got a mind of its own.
Have you been,
I don't like
how many times have you been kicked in the head?
I've been kicked, not in the head. I've been dropped on my head, and I ate a lot of paint chips. But no, I got kicked, bit, and I hate. They're beautiful. They're amazing. I hate them. I'm not into that world.
Okay.
But it's funny. I grew up in that world.
So this is my opinion of horses.
Yeah.
Differ from motorcycles.
Yes.
The horse you have to take care of every day.
Yeah.
You have to feed it every day.
Yes.
And all this. Your motorcycle, you park it. You don't want to ride it. You don't ride it for a week. You don't have to. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it don't have a mind of its own.
That's right.
You have control of the bike.
No, listen, I learned that the hard way, because I always thought it was neat, you know what I mean? And I thought I was going to follow in that, and then my brothers too, you know, and they still do it. Both of them still shoe horses on the side. And I hated it. I was not that. I was a city boy, you know, going to these barns with beautiful girls and stuff like that, and I liked that part of it. But as far as the horses, man, I couldn't control them. I'm little, skinny, and these big old horses want to do whatever they want. I got lifted up one time, holding on to the reins, and got shot up in the air. And I'm like, yeah, this is not for me. So motorcycles for me, I can control them, right? Horses, you cannot. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you can, yes. Yeah, and don't get mad. I'm saying more like, for me personally, I never felt comfortable. So,
yeah, man, we learned something new today about Ducati Dave. He's a horse guy in the past life.
In the past life, in medieval times.
Yeah. You had the bubonic plague last week. That's why you're upset. Oh my
God, I had the flu B. Oh Jesus, I didn't even know they had A and B. Apparently B is sucks. But yeah, I'm glad I'm back, man. I honestly had a rough week and a half actually. I missed Christmas and New Year's Eve or New Year's. So being down, and you and Karen were calling me. Karen's his wife, and she's amazing.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something.
She's got the Monster 30th anniversary coming up.
Well, she's got that coming. We didn't even talk about that. Yeah. So the Monster. Oops, sorry.
I didn't ruin a surprise, did I?
No.
Okay.
She knows.
No.
She has the Monster 1200R, which his brother-in-law has been trying to buy forever, and we ended up getting him one. Our good customer Juan Bueno had one. We had it there doing service because he was selling it to another gentleman that was going to take a long time to come from Vegas to get it. Him and his brother-in-law come in, and damn sure it's the Monster he's always wanted and tried to buy from Karen. Brother. Your brother. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Yeah, your brother.
Yeah.
I know that too. Yeah, there you go. and it's sitting there next to my desk, and he's like, David, why didn't you tell me about this? And I'm like, well, I didn't know you wanted one.
Yeah.
And so he ended up buying it.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And so he ended up getting that. And
he looked for 2 years. He tried to buy hers for 2 years. And
I can't believe it.
Told him it was not.
I apologize. It is his brother. And I know that.
And then Karen bought a MiG S e-bike from us too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, we did the MiG S, and she rode it for a while, and it was good. It was nice little ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
awesome. What you'd be the guy to ask this question too? Like, what as far as the future goes with Ducati? I mean, what would you want to see from that brand? I mean, what kind of technology or bikes or
these luxury bikes are kind of a new thing for them, you know. So I guess, and the way they market them has changed.
It is
drastically.
Yeah. I think they're going to go. They're going to change that again.
From the 21, and then the Lamborghini, and then the 23,
24
Street Fighter,
yeah,
and then the 24 Bentley bike. They marketed that way differently,
really differently, yeah.
And so I don't know. We'll see what they come out with, and
you'll get it, right? Yeah, yeah, we it's funny because you and I talk a lot, and he always has, like, him and I do this speculation thing. Well, you know, what would be next? And what we think would be next. Even if I know, I wouldn't tell him, but I don't know. But we always do these things, and I think we were right on the last one, on the Diavolo. Yeah. We knew it was going to be something. We didn't know about Bentley, you know, really wanting to be a part of Lamborghini, or not Lamborghini, of Ducati and do an edition, which is really cool. Him and I have talked about knowing that Porsche's under them and all these different things. You know, we always talk about that. Yeah. And them coming out with that Diavolo was such a cool idea because he's a big Diavolo guy. Yeah. You know, but
I didn't buy the standard Diavolo because I told you I'm going to wait till they do an SP or something.
Well, you said S first, and then I told you that when I spoke to them, they promised they weren't doing an S.
And they didn't.
And they didn't. They stuck to their word.
It was just the base Diavolo.
Yeah.
I didn't buy one because I knew when they come out with something different, then I'd want that.
Damn sure they
come
out
with this. So I was just waiting. So then they come out with the Bentley, so that was really good timing for me.
It really was. It really was.
It worked out well.
Yeah, for sure.
And is that the first time you've ever gone to an event like that?
Yes.
With Ducati or any type of... That was my first time, besides going to the event, you know.
I've been to some Ducati events, like when they do Ready for Rev.
Right. We do that.
But a real... event like that, no.
Where I didn't have to work it. I got to enjoy it with you, and it was neat because I actually got to feel like him, like somebody excited about Ducatis and excited about seeing something I haven't got to see, technically, and seeing it in person. And there were so many stars there. Tyson Bedford were there and all that stuff that we were talking about, and there was a rapper that you follow. So it was a good time, man. It really was.
Have you been to like any of the MotoGP bikes? I mean, do you follow that or like F1 or any racing type thing?
I haven't been to any of them. I do follow MotoGP. I watch the races, but I haven't been to any events. But seriously considering going to whenever they do.
Ducati
Dakota?
This year.
Oh, you want to do World Ducati Week?
Yeah.
That's what we know. I were talking about.
The world premiere.
Yeah.
World premiere, whatever they do.
That's World Ducati Week.
Yeah, we're thinking about doing that.
Yeah, you and I have been talking about that, and I was talking to him about it. I actually had a couple of podcasts ago. Oh, actually, it was the last one. We're talking about in July. I believe it's July 26th or 28th or something like that. It's going to be in Italy for World Ducati Week. And you are such a Ducati person. Yeah. That is what it's all about. It's for you guys, and it's for us too, as far as dealers.
Definitely. The one they had, I think it was this past year, where they done an event where you could, and they were going to take you to the Lamborghini factory, and do the tour there. It was in what do they call that, Motor Valley or whatever, or
Modemo.
But
wasn't it the one after
all the
we
high
left?
performance? Yeah, it's after you left.
Okay, so yeah,
So
that's
it's in
what
between.
it was.
It
They
was in
offered
between.
that. You didn't know that about that. So
Yeah.
remember when I went to Italy and we did our thing, and they unveiled the bikes to us, which was that new Diablo and stuff like that. After they actually could fly in the day after to where we were at in Sardinia, and they were going to do the customers would actually get that same type of treatment and get to see the bikes that are unveiled.
Yeah.
And even you actually got to see the Street Fighter Lamborghini before anybody, because I sent you pictures. It was out there. It was for everybody to see, so I didn't do anything bad. Yeah. But we were out for dinner at the pool, and they had the Lamborghini Street Fighter there, and I got to send him pictures of it because it's sitting there.
Yeah.
And so he got to see it before anybody.
Nice.
But they've done a couple of events that I got invited to go over there and ride bikes.
Yeah.
And toured the factory. And like I said, they done, the one I'm talking about is a different event because they were doing Ferrari and Lamborghini.
Really?
Yeah, they toured both of those factories. It was all within a week. You flew over there, but...
Did you do the factory at all?
No, I have not.
I haven't either.
My schedule didn't allow it at that time, but that's one I wished I could have went to.
I think
it's cool. Probably. I did the factory tour a few years back. It was really cool.
Is it neat?
It's weird. It's like the town is like, it's so historical and kind of old.
That's
Right.
Bologna?
And then you go up to this factory, and it's like, it's a legit, like, it looks like an old beat up factory. Like,
Right.
there's nothing,
Until you get
there's
inside.
nothing fancy about it. You're just looking at it, you're like, man, this is it. Like, this place looks rough. It looks like a factory. Like what
Really?
you'd think of a factory. When you walk inside that thing, it is like spick and span. I mean, the floors are spotless. When you're walking into like the production area and stuff, and they gave us a sneak peek into the Corsa race lab.
Oh, wow.
In there, and it's very serious once you get inside. But from the outside, and man, it's like, wow, it just looks like
Just a normal place, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I want to go. Hopefully, eventually, I'll go one day and see that place. But I've always seen pictures of the inside of how they have the museum and stuff. With all the
The
bikes over
museum was
years.
amazing.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
gorgeous.
really cool.
You haven't seen that, right?
I've only seen pictures.
You've only seen pictures.
Pictures and
Yeah, we're gonna
video.
have to do that. We're gonna have to do that. Yeah, so that'd be cool.
Maybe this year I can go. So I mean, it's definitely on my bucket list. It's something I want to do.
That World Ducati Week is supposed to be one of the coolest things, and they don't do it every year, which is what I
Right.
like.
Yeah.
So him and I have been talking about it, but man, we thought it was just for customers, and it turns out it's for everybody. It's for us to get to see some things, you guys to see some things, and to be a part of something that's bigger than us by far. When you see how many people show up that are all about Ducatis, that have tattoos, that have had every bike that they can purchase.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is.
I want to go.
It's awesome.
But yeah.
So yeah, we're kind of like running out of time here.
Yeah,
So do you want to wrap it up? Do we got anything else we want to cover with?
No, I mean,
the legend
listen, we just wanted to thank you for coming. And we've been wanting this for a long time, and we got to have a few drinks, got to show off some of your stuff. That's
the jacket over there too.
Yeah,
right?
you get to see the jacket.
But I'm gonna say thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do a part 2. Once you actually take delivery of that Bentley, we want to see.
We'll have it in here.
Yeah, we'll do something like that because that's a
idea.
pretty special bike, and the replica bike. I mean,
Like I said, the petrol bike too.
2024 is like going to be
Ridiculous.
epic because there's all these cool bikes coming out, and we got so many on order, and we're super excited. So.
I'm excited for sure. I think it's going to be a new year with the Race to 200. And I don't know if you know about that yet. So when you purchase a bike from us this year, it's going to be certified with a number. You don't know what number you're getting because it depends on who, So starting this year, January 1st, we have these stickers that when you get it, you can put it on your bike if you like, or you can put it in your paperwork, you can do whatever you want. But we're doing a Race to 200. At the end of the year, we're throwing a party for everybody.
Okay.
And it's going to be to thank you guys for being a part of the Ducati Sanford family.
200 is, the 200 is, you got the, what's it called?
Daytona 200.
The Daytona 200.
Yep.
So we kind of made a play on that. But at the same time, Ducati's looked at our market area, and they feel it's a 200 unit market. And, we've always come a little shy of that. So, we usually sell about 175 Ducatis a year. So we're like, man, let's hit that 200 mark. Let's hit that goal. How can we do it? Make
Sanford.
Yeah. And how can we make it fun for everybody?
Yeah.
Everybody loves numbered bikes,
cool,
so let's do a self certification process with the dealership, and throw a party for everybody when we hit that 200 goal. So we're excited about it. So it sounds like you're going to be at least you're going to definitely be two.
Two for sure.
But
Three.
my gut.
Three.
Okay, three.
Oh, yeah, three. That's right.
You're
Monster.
three.
Yeah.
But my gut tells me it'll probably
It'll be more
at the
than
by the end of the year it
there'll
might
be
be
something
something.
else.
Yeah, for sure. So thank
like
you, man,
that.
for coming
Thank
out,
you,
man.
man.
Pleasure
Thank
talking
you.
with you, man.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Rev
Very
up,
cool.
man.
Rev up, guys. Don't forget to follow us on
Instagram, Facebook.
YouTube. Anywhere you can follow people, follow us.
Yeah, man.
Smash that like button.
Hope you guys are enjoying it. We're getting better and better. And to have the legend on was my dream. And I know you were excited about this.
Yeah.
So thank you, man. Thank you very much. And thank you for Nate doing
Cheers.
this with us. And
Cheers.
thank you, Rob.
Thanks.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank
Cheers.
you.